tell me, who's Sara?
Sara is a woman, a mother, a partner, a coach, an author, and a passionate for life. Still a Spartan athlete and a student to learn growth and our role in life.
And where did, because I know a bit about you. We're friends. I know you're not from here. You don't sound like a Quebec girl.
No,
You
not
got
at
that
all.
cute accent with that smile. Where are you from? Where are you from?
I was born and raised in Portugal. I lived there for 28 years, and then I moved to Canada.
You moved to Canada. But
It's
you didn't
been
move to Canada, though.
No, I actually came to Canada on vacations, and then I loved so much that I decided to never went back to my country.
Okay. Well, I know a little bit about that story, but let's just backtrack a bit. Let's go back to Portugal. And what was your life back then over there as a kid?
I had a rough childhood. My father was very aggressive with us. He had good things and bad things. The bad thing is he was not very emotional. He would beat us a lot. I had situations with my grandfather and behavior, inappropriate behavior towards us. Then growing up, I have people with less good intentions coming close to me, and I wound up in situations of being sexually abused. Violence also was a big part of my childhood,
Physical violence?
and verbal.
Verbal violence?
My Let's start with family. My parents
Yeah.
would argue a lot, and will go from screaming to each other to pushing, and sometimes more rough
In front
contact.
of you.
Yes,
In front of you as a
yes, screaming. Um, so that made me feel very inadequate. Then religion took a massive role too. My mom's side was Catholic, and my father was a Jehovah's Witness. So in this environment, there's always we are better than them, and you have to choose one of them, and the other one is the worst. And it created a lot of lying, misunderstanding, fighting, especially at school. And that time, elementary school essentially was still very Catholic. Well, all the holidays and the celebrations. So being a daughter of a Jehovah's Witness, we should not do none of those celebrations. And the orders that my teacher had is like we couldn't color the Santa Claus, and we couldn't be a part of the carnival costumes that we would do in class and then celebrate together.
Right. Anything the other kids did, you couldn't do because of your
Exactly.
religion, your dad.
Exactly. And
Okay.
we don't celebrate birthdays, so I could
Okay.
not invite friends to my birthday. Let's start with I didn't celebrate. And then I could not go to their birthday neither. That set me apart of them. And it made me feel alone, not belonging, questioning why me. And during this time, my father should had, teach us the faith that he had, and it kind of mess up on that. So you're different, but you don't know why. So you feel like a black sheep.
And how early was that you felt that your family, it was your family, but you didn't feel quite part of that family? It wasn't part of what you wanted in life.
Well, it started at the age of 5 when I start school, right? Everyone would do groups and do activities very often that I couldn't participate. And then the more I grew, the more I felt that I couldn't pick up a side that I would belong. So
It's hard. I mean,
I just didn't felt that I belonged there. And there was so much pressure and expectations towards us, and I didn't met those expectations. So it just grows bigger and bigger and bigger. And I guess because you're a child, you don't understand that this is happening to you. So the things are happening and just accumulate, and you don't know how to ask for help because you don't realize necessarily that you are becoming a snowball of bad events. go through that and you try to navigate. And later on is the moment that you realize that communicated or help could maybe help, or I don't know. I felt that it should have been the adults that should have noticed that we had something wrong, or there was something that was not okay with us, and it didn't happen.
At what age did you feel like it wasn't part of you? At what age? Was it young?
Oh no.
Because I mean, you got here when you're 28. Is that correct?
No.
28.
Yeah.
Okay, so what age did you feel like this isn't me, and why
Oh
is this?
my God.
Why is this not me, and what am I going to do about that?
Maybe the first time that I felt free to detach myself from all of that weight was when I came here. I remember the moment I set my foot in Montreal, I was enchanted.
Tell me
you
about
know?
that. You came on vacation, but as far as I know, your vacation is pretty long. Because I mean, you've been here for
I'm a
16
lucky
years.
girl.
That is a
Exactly.
pretty damn long vacation.
I came on vacations, and it was Christmas. I remember the everything about it. I was amazing. The snow.
But hang on.
People.
You left here for vacation, so you told you told your family, your husband back then, correct?
No, and back then I had a boyfriend-ish.
Okay.
They were not.
Okay.
We were at the end of a relationship.
Okay.
kind of
So
thing.
then you're like, hey, I'm going on vacation, and I'm pick and choose in Montreal. I know a couple people there. I'm heading to Montreal. So you're actually heading on vacation.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
you get to Montreal,
One luggage, left the computer at home, just.
and you're
off
going
a-
on vacation.
Yes, 15 days.
So then what happened?
I fell in love with here. I felt for the first time in my life that I was at one place that it made me feel good.
Just felt good.
Yes.
Okay.
Free. You know, there was no expectations. There was no people judging me. There was no. Often in Portugal, I had this feeling that no matter what I was trying to do, I was stuck in this square, and
Because of the family.
because of everything, because of the family, because of the expectation, because inside me, I felt that I couldn't be what they wanted me to be, and I felt always wrong. And when I was here, there's nothing like that. It's a clean sheet. For the first time,
Pressure.
I had a clean sheet and everything was so far away. Their influence was insignificant.
Nobody waiting for you. Nobody
Well,
pressure on
ish.
you. Well, kind of. But I mean, out here, nobody's waiting for
No.
you for something.
No,
Nobody's
no.
pressuring you into
No,
doing anything.
no.
You're just, like Snoop Dogg said once, don't be a copy of somebody, be the original. So you could just be yourself without anybody judging.
And you know, one of the things that really inspired me in Montreal is like the diversity. People are so you cannot say I go to Montreal and I see and people are tall and or white or no. You go to Montreal and you see people, and the magic of it is like they are every single color and they are every single size and they are extravagant and introverted and extroverted and they just are, you know. And I think that's what I fell in love when I arrived here.
So then when you realize that you're in love with Montreal and you're in love with being here and you felt good, would you tell yourself, like, hey, I'm just going to stick around?
Yes.
Was it that easy?
Actually, yes.
Gonna get a job
Because-
at McDonald's.
Well, that part was not easy, and you know, coming to a foreign country and the process of being legal is still a process. But for me, it was much less complicated to start something new here
all over again.
than go back and have that feeling of being wrong and being stuck, the heaviness of the situation. I found out that was easier to start from scratch here than go back to that.
And what would you say your biggest struggles would be of your life? Was it with your past back home in Portugal?
Oh my God, it's an accumulation of situations. Like I said, misunderstanding as a child, the feeling of being wrong in the family, being wrong at school. Then again, when my parents finally divorced, my mom got very busy, my father got very busy, so we kind of float on our own, and this goes on with all the emotions of being a teenager. Then I remember we tried to get close to my father, and there was a period while he was alone that was kind of easy, but then he had a new girlfriend, and she was not necessarily friendly or nice to us. Then inside of me is like there must be something wrong with me, because all my friends have family, and all my
Fit.
friends that have celebrations and parties and go on vacations together and have sleepovers. And by the time I was 15 or 14, I never had a sleepover
They
or
fit and I
friends.
don't. Yeah.
See, so it's like there must be something wrong with me, and then I have this need of perfection, so my parents would be proud of me, especially my father, because he's just a successful businessman. So I would always feel
Pressured.
yeah, I would always
Yeah.
feel that I'm talking with God, so he's perfect and I'm not. So I feel like this little kid looking up and say, hey, do you notice me? And you will never would. So I went very rough in everything I could, figure it out, including bulimia, because I felt maybe if I'm more beautiful, people will like me more. And I just kept beating the shit out of me for so long, because I just couldn't find a place where I felt belonged or loved or I felt good. I couldn't find a place where I felt good.
So hurting yourself, suicide, maybe, temptation.
Yes, later in my relationships, I think once you enter the spiral of bad things come to you. So my first relationships were really rough. I had a massive issue with my first serious relationship. Um, he was crazy about me. At that point, all I wanted was to start a life and find my own family. Since I couldn't fix my family, or I couldn't belong with my family, I thought, well, maybe I could start mine and finally have something that belongs to me and I feel belonged. He was one of my father employees. He really liked everything about me. I was the youngest daughter, my father's daughter, so all that is door to his world. I couldn't I couldn't fit in. And by the time that I wanted to leave, he started to be quite jealous. I wound up pregnant. I wanted to leave. We fight a lot. We had to live with his mother. She hated me. She hated everything about me. For her, I was just a spoiled little princess. I just didn't know what to do with my life. And I don't know, maybe I was, but my
You
feelings
so
were
look
my
like
one.
that kind of girl.
Yes, exactly. But she is from the countryside. Well, she was educated old school. You work hard for your things. You don't ask questions. For her, all my questioning about the world was ridiculous, probably, right? And then she kind of opened the door of her house to me that I didn't want it, but it's her son found that, you know, thought that was the right thing to do.
So you moved in with mommy.
Well, with
You
his
moved in
mother.
with his mother.
Yeah, yeah. I
Really?
kind of
So she
didn't.
opened up, and then she said to her son, "Come on in, bring your girlfriend."
No, he lived with her.
Oh, he already lived with her.
He already lived with her. So we
Okay.
just, instead of finding a place for us the way I wanted, he just said, well, the house is
Come
big
with
enough.
us.
Come, just come, and my mom is going to help take care of you, and blah, blah, blah. It's just, we just couldn't match. If I already had issues to belong to my family's world, with that world it was just way too far. I just couldn't match with her. We had completely different ways of thinking, and was terrible. And then I go to the situation that I'm stuck in a reality that I don't understand. And people keep telling me that I'm too young, I should listen to them, I don't know what I'm doing, I I'm not worthy, you were a waste of my time, etc., etc. And then we fight. And while I was fighting with him, his mom would get involved. And you just start to believe
Everything they
when
say.
people say.
Yeah.
And then argues would just become harder, became physical, because that's how I knew to defend myself at one point. You just, you get physical, and then I would get hurt, very hurt, because I don't want to point you. You would just like
Right.
stop this shit, and that's it. Um, I passed from situations that turn out in a complete nightmare to a point that I couldn't understand what was the value of my life. At the age of 20s, early 20s, while everyone was having fun in life, I just had so much rage by then, and so much pain that I couldn't understand what was the meaning of my life. So I just told myself, well, let's make this easy. Let's end it all. And I tried a lot of times, and I tried and I tried. And one day, after so many tries, I wound up waking up, and my friend kind of told me as a joke, Sarah, if that doesn't take you, you might as well learn how to leave. And at that point, I'm like,
Not to live, not to leave.
how
Because you're
to
trying to leave
I'm trying
this
to,
world.
no,
You're
no,
trying to leave this.
how
You're
to
trying
live
live,
your life,
to
found out
live your
why
life.
you're here.
Okay.
And I kind of did. I
So
kind
you're
of did.
trying to kill yourself, and it's not working out.
It's not
So somebody comes around and says, "Hey, look, if you can't do it, if it ain't gonna work, just trying to live your life and trying to
Just,
make it good, trying to
if
make
that
good out of
doesn't
it."
take you, there's a reason on
Just
that.
live-
You have
yeah,
to
okay.
figure it out, because it didn't work until now. It's not going to work. And
Yeah.
I guess she was right. I
So
guess she
when,
was
when
right.
was it at that moment that altogether that you're like, "Okay, I'm lost. What am I gonna do?"
Life brings you opportunities sometimes. So I guess the moment I decide to hang on to life, in parallel, my father was kind of worried also with my health, of course. He wound up proposing me to go back to a private school that I didn't want to go. But at the same time, I didn't have the strength to argue with him. So I just went
So you
like,
went.
whatever. They had this admission exams, and in my head's like, I'm sick. I don't give a shit for life.
Right.
I'm never gonna pass through the exam. So I'm like, why would I fight to my father? Just gonna say yes. I'm not gonna pass the exams. Done. That's it. Surprisingly, I did pass the exams, and I start studying. And I think that's everything my brain needed. I needed challenge. I needed stimulation, and I start finding it. And academic environments are fascinating to me. And the thing is, when you start a project and you give everything you have, and people start appreciating you back, there's a tilt that comes somehow. It's like in one side you are stuck in a situation where people tell you you're a piece of shit, and then in another side you have a community that starts looking at you and say, "Whoa, you good," and then it's like, "Okay, well, I have a problem here. I'm
I'm a
either
piece of
one
shit, but I'm
or
good."
the other,
Yeah.
right? I'm not
Right.
both." So I'm like, I start to understand that I was just stuck in the wrong place. I wound up leaving my ex. Of course, there were still things to deal with that. He was quite mad.
That was the point you wanted to rebuild yourself.
Yes, I think
was
that's
at
the
that time.
first step,
Yeah.
the first wake up call that said, okay, you know what? I have life in me.
You're not a piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly. I have life in me.
Right.
Let's figure it out where the stake is.
But I understand though that the people that around you are keep kicking you on the head, trying to get you down all the time. Then you start believing it.
Exactly.
But then when you start believing there's actually something down the road, and life starts.
Yeah.
But it's hard, right?
It is quite hard when you're stuck in the situation, when you're stuck in a reality, unless there's something that changes you, or there's a sign that makes you wake up, you're stuck. Then you're going to be stuck if you don't know nothing about it.
And I believe all of that. Well, first off, congratulations. Your book just came out, Journey Back to Self. You're explaining all of that and where you came from and what you
Yes.
did to get out of it.
Yes.
And Journey Back to Self. Anybody can get that now. It's audiobook as well?
Not yet. We start with Kindle and
Okay.
paperback in Amazon.
Okay.
I want to be the one who's gonna. I want to be the voice of my book, so it's gonna take a little bit longer. I'm still working on it.
Excellent. Explain me what's in that book, just a bit. Got to keep some secrets in there.
Absolutely. Well, I think that book is the recipe from being broken to becoming whole. To me, I started that project last year, and it started like, a therapy from me to me. I started writing it because I just had overcome a massive moment in my life. 2022, 2023, I thought I had it, everything I ever wanted. I thought, this is it, life is it, this is everything I ever wanted. And I lost it all. And I got myself to a situation that's like, oh my God, okay, if that's not it, I have no idea what my life is supposed to be. So I went deeper. I was already in a path of self growth. So I went deeper on that. And I decided to practice a lot of surrender and try to understand, what am I going to do next? I started writing the book to understand everything that I had inside me and everything I had come through. And when I did that, at one point I started to telling friends and share a few chapters here and there. And suddenly people would say, oh my God, you have to finish this.
You started this book just for yourself.
Yeah, I started this as a personal adventure and
Right.
healing process. And then the more I wrote about it, people start telling me, oh my God, you have to finish this. And at one point, I had a coach helping me. And we start realizing that there's a lot of women like me that suffer in silence and go through challenge. And like I did, we don't ask for help. And we don't ask for help because even if you're being beaten, even if you're being abused, and even if it's not your fault, what happens inside of you is you feel ashamed. And for many, many years, I set myself aside of a lot of people because I thought, I'm not like them. So I would step aside, not because I'm better, but on the opposite. I'll feel ashamed. If they knew the things I went through,
Right.
if they could just imagine, they would despise me
So that's
or
the
laugh at
message.
me.
That's the message you want to leave with that book.
Yes. I would like to women understand that they are not alone. And regardless of society message of asking help is weakness, it's not.
Don't
Ask
matter
for
how many
help.
friends you got, how many family members you got around. When stuff like that happens, you still feel alone. You feel
You
like you're
do.
all by yourself.
Absolutely. And we have this thing inside of us that the first thing we do is not saying, okay, what's going on in the environment? The answer, it's right away, what's going on with me? What's wrong with me?
Right.
I remember I asked myself lots of times, what's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with me.
Interesting. They're interesting. I'm just thinking stuff right now. And now that the book is out, we got to stop talking about the book because you got to go get them. What's your mission now? What do you want to do now? What is it that you want to, you're not going to stop at that book because now you know exactly, you know the why. You know the why. So what's your
I
mission
do.
now? Where are you heading?
I wish to help women that pass through trauma. I coach people that needs help. I don't think that our path in our lives are meant to walk alone. So I want to be the person that helps them achieve their goals, that helps them realize there's nothing wrong with them, that is the light at the end of the tunnel, that is the person that they can reach for help, for a place of, I know where you're feeling. And there's no judgment here, it's only understanding, because I know how that goes. I know how that feels. And I think I'm just extremely lucky because even in the hardest moments, there was always something, a person or a book or a teacher or a coach that appeared. There was my light at the end of the tunnel. That's what I want to be for people. I want to be their light at the end of the tunnel.
So for someone that's feeling alone, feeling broken, feeling lost, and listening to this right now, what you want to tell them?
Pause. Take a minute to breathe, touch your heart, feel your soul, and just listen to their voice that speaks to you, even if it's quite far away, there's still your voice. There's nothing wrong with you. We are all different. We all have a path. And sometimes all we need is someone that believes in us. So if you don't believe in yourself, just know, I believe in you. You can do it.
Thank you, Sara. Thanks for coming out. Thank you for sharing the story with us. Thanks for your book. Journey Back to Self is now out. And she will have the audiobook very soon. So till then, my name is Jordan, JS Studio. Thank you.
Thank you,
Sara,
Jordan.
for coming out. Until then, take care of yourselves, all right?